Testing day success.
Dance for life in Barbados.
And we check out the girls' tea party.
From across the Caribbean.
This is Live Up the Show!
Hello, hi, welcome.
Hi.
What I really love about hosting this show is that I can give life-saving information as I get it. For example, did you know the viral load, which is the amount of HIV in the body, spikes immediately after infection, before the antibodies, which help fight that infection, have the chance to kick in?
Well, I didn't know that. But I guess what that means is that having multiple concurrent partners, in other words being the village ram and sleeping with a lot of people at the same time, will greatly increase your chances of becoming infected, right?
Well, of course. Just another reason to have one faithful partner at a time. I mean, if you're having sex, don't play Russian roulette, right?
Well, exactly. And testing plays a big part in stopping this chain of contact. We're going to bring you reports from 3 of the 21 countries that took part in this year's Regional Testing Day.
One from my homeland, Barbados, a special segment from Mitzi in Antigua. But first, let's go to Garfield in Jamaica.
Regional Testing Day here in Jamaica, Jamaica's capital, Kingston. I'm actually outside the Scotiabank branch on King Street in Kingston. Declared a massive success here as a smooth flow of persons coming here from early in the morning to get tested, and that stream of persons continued for most of the day here on this Friday, coming here to this location. This was one of the testing areas, and we have about 3 booths just to my right where persons were being tested. And even after the cutoff point, persons were still coming to this location asking whether or not they could still get tested. Critical that testing and counseling services are actually seen for what they are. They are a critical pillar in the fight against HIV in a region which is second only to sub-Saharan Africa in terms of the prevalence of HIV. In fact, in some countries in the region like the Bahamas, the prevalence rate is about 3%. Here in Jamaica, it's less, about 1.7%. About 32,000 persons estimated to be living with the disease. Of that figure, about half of those persons, close to 70,000 persons, estimated not to know their HIV status. And that's why testing and counseling services are absolutely critical. But here in Jamaica, Regional Testing Day went absolutely wonderfully as persons streamed into this location, not only here at King Street, but also at Scotiabank branch in Hagley Park, which is just up north of where I am now in Kingston. All look forward then to next year's Regional Testing Day, when over 180 sites will be used to repeat the same task of having persons know their HIV status. That's how the scenes were in Jamaica. How are they in Barbados, Alex?
There was a good turnout here, Garfield, with people coming to be tested from all across the island. One of the highlights was an official testing day address at the Parliament Yard Testing Centre in Bridgetown, and that was by the Minister of Health, the Honourable John Boyce.
Within the Ministry of Health, a dedicated HIV testing team that comprises highly qualified counsellors along with volunteers conduct HIV testing and supportive counselling in accordance with the policy of outreach events such as this. This event has grown in coverage over the years, enabling us to test large numbers of persons in excess of 1,000. These large numbers are impressive and clearly demonstrate the influential power of the media and the importance of strategic alliances such as this one.
Several of the people turning out for free HIV testing and counselling used the occasion to speak with Live Up about the importance of being tested.
I just come out because my friend motivated me to come out and get tested. So people out there, come out and get tested and know your status and live up.
I was nervous about timing the results. When I did get the results, I felt it was okay, so I make it every year get tested.
I think it's very, very important, so you should know your status, especially if you're involved with a partner, and it's only reasonable that that partner should be aware of your status.
The response in Antigua and Barbuda was also good, as we hear from Mitzi Allen.
A total of 416 people accessed free and confidential HIV testing over a 3-day period in Antigua and Barbuda as part of the CBMP Scotiabank Regional Testing Day. That's 84 people short of the 500 people the National AIDS Program had hoped to test. However, they're far from disappointed.
I think testing is catching on to the general public. Persons are much more receptive and they're beginning to trust the system a little more. And though the numbers may not necessarily reflect previous years, I'm satisfied that what we're seeing is more persons who are testing as first-timers, and for us that is a very good sign.
Regional Testing Day for Antigua and Barbuda began on the sister island of Barbuda on June 21st.
For Barbuda, we tested over 60 persons. We were able to not only test persons, but also give out information in regards to HIV and AIDS.
3 testing sites were opened on Antigua, 2 at Scotiabank locations, and 1 within the National AIDS Program. And with the support of the CBMP's Get Tested radio and television campaign, more young people were tested than ever before.
What we have begun to see is a steady stream of young persons. So the populations that we have seen thus far are very young, varying between the ages of probably 17 to about 21.
And that's this year's report for Regional Testing Day.
We all agree that information is key. So do you think there should be sex education in schools? And if so, from what age?
I definitely think there should be sex education in schools. I think primary schools are an appropriate age because children these days, they're actually growing up very fast. In my time, just it when I was in secondary school, and we didn't have a chance to do it in primary school, but I think you should do it from primary school, yeah.
Sex education should have been involved in the school from the time the young kids get to know about sexual intercourse and about life and what's going on out there.
Well, definitely, I think so. And as small as they should be, as small as maybe 7 going up, because their minds are open at really small age, so they should be. It should be.
To be honest with you, there's always sex education in schools, whether it be formal or otherwise. But I guess you're speaking of a formal sexual education. And yes, I do believe there should be formal sexual education in school, and it should be from the time the child actually starts school.
I believe that we should start as early as possible. It's always better to start educating young so that they will know the differences between male, female, the different organs and stuff like that. And then as we progress into sexual education in terms of the actual act, then it's easier to explain it to them.
I do think there should be sex education in schools from as young as they can understand, maybe like around 7, 8, because they're being exposed to it on TV. They're being exposed to it in the music. So they need to be taught at a young age what to do, how to handle certain situations. I definitely think so.
Yeah, I do believe there should be sex education in schools, and I think maybe from about 8 years, when about 8 years old, they should introduce them to it.
Yes, I think they should have sex education in schools from possibly age 13, 12, 13, when the children get sexually active and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, from the time you get in first form.
Yes, I think it's around 15, which would be around third form. You should, because even junior, secondary students, they are exposed to sex.
Part of living is going out and making good informed decisions. This is the most powerful defense in my mind of our generation. We have a serious problem with AIDS, we have a serious problem with a lot of things that young people are dealing with. But we have to be the one that create the social movement that change it. We have to be the change agent we're looking for. Remember, live up, love, protect, respect.
Live up, shout, live up, shout.
Something, it seems to me that a lot of young people are actually getting the message these days. They realize that HIV, this thing is huge, but that they can stop it in its tracks. That has to be empowering, right?
Absolutely. And they're the ones that reach out to their peers.
Yeah.
We saw a great example of this at the Dance for Life concert recently at the Concord Experience in Barbados.
Yeah. I heard they had a really, really good host.
Oh, it was great fun.
Dance for Life is a global youth movement in 28 different countries. The first country in the Caribbean is here in Barbados, and we work in 8 different secondary schools doing a sexual health education program. Dance for Life uses music and dance and other youth-friendly approaches to talking and working with youth about sexual health. We also use peer education. So the people that we send into the different schools are young, they're friendly, and they're very open to talking with young people. So we try to make it a very peer-led approach to sexual health education. And we also have our National Youth Council. So that's about 15 students here in Barbados across the different secondary schools. And their role is to really guide the program. So to make sure that what we're teaching and how we're teaching it in the schools is very applicable to their lives.
For the Dance for Life, we focus mainly on sexual education and making sure that, young people were coming into a world where, everything's exciting and mysterious, and we just want to make sure that everyone out there has the tools and the knowledge they need to make sure that they're safe.
We just really try to embrace everybody with open arms and accepts everyone for who they are, no matter what their past is, no matter what they're going through right now, or what their problems are, exactly. Universal language, and you don't have to speak French or Spanish or Portuguese. It's there for everyone. You do the movements, people can follow. So by that just
exciting.
Yeah,
it's fun and exciting. It's a medium that speaks out to everyone.
Freezing all day long in the sunshine, seaside bonfires every night. Yeah. Whoa, but even the best things in life have got no to win. Whoa, just wish I could go back to summertime again. I wish I could rewind back to summertime.
Dance for Life is a really nice group because it shows you how to grow up. It shows you, well, if you want to have sex, use a condom, because some children don't have the opportunity for their mothers to talk to them and tell them about their life. So I think that's what Dance for Life is there to help you.
Oh, biology, I fall asleep, don't you roll like she named, she said. My name is Sabrina, didn't mean to interrupt you when you was walking, I talking from my heart. Lady, you looking so nice in them jeans, I want to be part of you. Like, I ain't looking for the white, but I just make sure that you and I just sit down or maybe hold hands and just stop leaving.
Some people have sex because people bully them into sex. So I just think they should wait till they're ready.
You should not tolerate someone that is violating someone's human rights. Someone has a right to be who they are, what they want to be. You shouldn't discriminate against someone, and you should not harm them physically, verbally, mentally, in any way.
I want everybody, if you believe in positivity, push your right hand in the air, push your right hand in the air, push your right hand in the air. Everybody come, sing the thing real. Again, we jumping up on again, happy running it.
Find a way that the bully would mentally put himself or herself in their victim's shoes. Find a way to help them to understand how would you feel if you were the one being bullied? How would you feel if you were being treated the way you were treated because of simply who you are or what you do or what your morals are or what's not? Find a way to help the bully to be sympathetic and empathetic with their victim.
I pledge to speak out against bullying. I pledge to recognize and reaffirm that we do not need drugs or alcohol to have fun.
I pledge to protect myself by STIs by abstaining from sex until I'm ready.
Also by using condoms correctly and consistently and having one faithful sexual partner.
I pledge to stand up to violence, including sexual abuse. I pledge to be an example for those younger than me. And to demand access to youth-friendly health services. And I pledge to love and respect myself and realize that no matter what my past, I have the power to make better choices tomorrow.
Seeing Live Up hero Kirk Brown at the concert reminded me of an interview he did with us a few seasons back. So in case you missed it, here it is again. Rewind!
Yo, she's sweet like sugar cane.
I'm a singer, entertainer, and recently got into acting. And
That's it. I love the arts, I love creativity, and I work very long days. I'm very driven to success. So I came up in church. Mom was very much about education, so I have a good backing from there. My father's very creative. He wrote a lot. I had a book of poems, enormous book of poems. I used to look up to the dance hall guys like, the Shaggy and the Beanie Man, not only because they did that kind of reggae music and Bob Marley, but because they were able to cross over into, different genres. It wasn't just reggae, they made it kind of pop, funk, so, as well as Michael Jackson, can't forget. He was right over my bed, poster, the greatest entertainer that ever lived, in my opinion. The lyrics, the content, as well as the tempo, they all have a psychological effect, whether it's in the party and environment, because obviously if it's a nice mellow piece, about love your wife and African princess, you're kind of swaying, you're on that vibe, but you've seen the music, if it gets a little more heated and it's, beat the wall, or it's hurt someone or bust your, whatever, it tends to lead to that.
He used to say HIV could never affect him. He could do what he want, anytime he want, and never worry about a thing.
We had the HIV competition, I think it was in December, the National HIV Song Competition. And we wanted to make an impact. So as a strategy, the group, we each did a verse. We wanted to paint a story of, as one guy thinking he's immortal. He has so many girls, he's a real playboy.
But little did he know, you don't have to do drugs, don't have to sleep around, it only takes one time.
Then the other one is a girl, she thinks the guy likes her a lot, but he's really using and abusing.
It only takes one time for you to slip up, send your whole life up the river. How could he be so blind? How could he be so blind?
There's some people who know to come out, and behave themselves, have a good time, get a party, and travel safely. Then there's some that drink within their limits, some that go far beyond the limits and end up doing harm to other people or to themselves. I think once you come up with a strong mind, there's no one that can convince you to do otherwise. So I think the singers, it's your duty, really, your responsibility for the entertainers to lead that kind of life and let them see that there's fun with stability, and that way influencing the younger generation. So I just think educating the masses, getting the information out there, and getting persons to see that there are ways to treat it and there are good ways to treat the people who are affected with the disease. It's very important to get it to the visitors to the island as well as the locals. And if you're gonna have sex, then obviously use protection. I would think the correct age to teach sexual education within moderation would be from the primary school level. We can all say, let's teach it at 14 or 16, but the reality of the fact is there's relatives, there's persons out there who look at the younger generation and say, you know what, I want to get her before anyone else does. There's 11, 12, it's terrible, but it happens. Educate them on their way up so that if a person approaches them, whether it's at school, or it's on the street, in the subway, in the bus, they know, hey, you know what, this isn't right. My mom and dad discussed this. I'm too young for this. I'm not touching anything until... Because most young people now are tricked into it by, no one will know, or everyone's doing it, or... So, education is the key.
Baby girl, I love the way you're moving that body. You got me. By the way you're shaking and sipping that Bacardi. You're hardly taking time to talk to anybody.
I'm big on dreams. Once you've set a dream, if you want to be an actor, you want to be a lawyer or whatever, you're not going to allow anyone to damage your body, your health, your mind, that would affect you on your road and your path to success. As I become bigger, my eventual dream is to build a school of the arts within Barbados or the Caribbean. Have a school that's dedicated to singing, theater, acting, you name it. Once you aim for the best, you're gonna live up, you're gonna live clean, you're gonna make yourself the best that you can be.
And don't stop, make that pop, sweep the flow with it. Just bring your hands out the ground, shake that round and round, and shake it, shake it, shake it, just shake it.
The road ain't a racetrack. Got these fellas that driving ignorant on the road. If you want to drive like that, go up the track. And I got tested for HIV on TV. I mean, I ain't no worry, because at the end of the day, I ain't doing no stupid mistakes. I ain't getting drunk and having unprotected sex. I mean, I got a wife now, so that don't happen. So you gotta respect yourself, Don't do stupid things. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and have unprotected sex. I'm Barry Mears. Love, protect, respect. Live up.
Live up, shout, live up, live up.
You know, Alex, there are so many people who think that HIV and AIDS is the same thing, but they're not.
They're not. So we thought we'd hit the streets to ask you if you knew the difference.
I do. No. I more believe that AIDS is more serious, which is the long-term disease, while HIV can be able to controlled so it doesn't spread to become AIDS, which would then be lethal. That's my understanding.
HIV is, well, I mean, I don't know the terminology, but HIV would, I guess, be the starting point. And then obviously the virus can, again, I don't know the medical terminology, but let's say morph, transform, graduate to full-blown AIDS, which is obviously at that point a serious problem.
I think the difference between HIV and AIDS, HIV is like the first stages, and then it progresses and you get AIDS, which will be like the last stage where you can possibly die from it.
The HIV is when it's fairly young, and the AIDS is when it's full blown.
I'm not too sure. I've heard about it. I mean, you use the abbreviation to try and understand what it is, but I don't think I have enough information to say I can pinpoint exactly what's the difference. I associate the two as the same.
HIV is particularly a virus, right? And AIDS is the what you would get like after you contract that virus.
HIV would be when you contract the disease, and then AIDS will have the full-blown, the disease will actually have been developed into the full-blown infection.
Of course, I know the difference between HIV and AIDS. HIV is well, AIDS is a full-blown. One is full, but I think it's terminal. And the other one, HIV, is the one that they treat. I guess that they have the medication for that they treat. Am I right by this? I think I am right.
And just in case you didn't know, HIV is the virus that can lead to AIDS.
Exactly. Well, now we meet with writer-director Annette Aline to chat about her award-winning film, The Girls' Tea Party, which was produced by the Caribbean Council for Sexual Wellbeing.
Did I say it has to capture people's attention? Yes, sir. Candice, you failed to show how everybody is connected. Tamika, the biggest lie men tell women. I will never lie to you. Calvin, all I can say is poor. Your age group is the one most at risk. A few years ago, young people were terrified of getting AIDS. Now, the story is old. They seem to think it's like catching a cold. It isn't. We are too complacent. Why don't more young girls just... Say no. Exactly. Anyway, this one by Kay is interesting. This is the one that we will go with, so I want the class to see it. Set it up.
Thank God I'm selective. My one good-looking boyfriend, Halden, he is intelligent, educated, has a certain pedigree.
Your health, your responsibility. Don't leave it to anybody. You don't think it can happen to you? HIV is the equal opportunity employer. No discriminator, no respecter of age, class, race, religion, or gender. Girls thinking sex can hold a fella trying to get the status of baby mama. Leaving your life in the hands of a man without a plan, just passing through, don't care enough about you to change tactics and spend $2 to get a prophylactic. Then you call yourself a player, nonchalant, do whatever you want, boasting about how many you had, that's the new fad. Don't care if he's the one, you having fun, but too embarrassed to buy a condom. You have more power than you think. Your health, your responsibility. Don't leave it to anybody.
That is so inspiring. Such a cool film. Check it out on YouTube or on Vimeo. Can you believe it's time for us to talk? Amazing. Join us next time.
Definitely. And remember to live up.
Love, protect, respect. From across the Caribbean.
This is Live Up the Shot!
Damn! What happened there?
Oh, well done, Dr. Leacock.
Center your cheek. I'm sorry.
You have a giggle?
Wind! You need to stop!